Hey, what time is it?
It's Jeep time.
All right. Hey, so we got a cool little video. I think it's going to be a series here, and it's to help use out there to keep you on track as far as building and setting a Jeep up to get you from point A to point B, as far as getting you that dream rig.
Yeah.
So one thing that we found that's really helped us to help us keep on track is what?
Build sheet.
When he talks about a build sheet is a notepad.
Oh.
Yeah. We had a couple military jets right over top of us. All right. So build sheets. And what he means by build sheets is a notepad, a dedicated notepad for your build. That means you're not going to be letting your kid on here or your wife. This is yours. Or maybe it is a woman doing the build. One thing I want to emphasize is right up here, the very top. Right at the top is to somewhat describe what that build is going to be. So if we were to break a Jeep down into 4 categories, what would you break them down?
There's a mall crawler, road runner, first category.
Okay,
Second
hold on. So mall crawler would encompass a vehicle that is we'll say 100% of the time drove on the street, but it can run real thin sidewall tires. It doesn't have to have a good flexing suspension. It's all looks.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what's number 2?
Second category is overland.
All right, so number 2 would include super reliability. That'd be one thing. You got to make sure it has good storage space.
Yep.
It can't be overly tall because it's going to be hauling quite a bit of weight, and you don't want to roll it. And it has to have great on-road capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Third category would be mild off-roader.
So, wouldn't you think that's what we would be in?
Yes.
How would you describe number 3?
Well, typically whenever you refer to mild off-roader, or actually off-roader in general, would be 60% off-road, 40% on-road, which would be where we're at. And that mild off-roader can kind of vary. 70% on-road, 30% off-road. Versus back to the Overlander, they can be all over the place. They may be going down a gravel road or a paved road. Very rarely do they go extreme mud bogging with their rig.
But the Overlander is not going to do modifications to their Jeep or their 4x4 like we would. Mm-hmm. Because they're even more concerned about how much they can carry.
Yeah.
And reliability is top.
But then there's the 4th category, which would be the extreme rock bouncer, mud bogger.
Or the person that is willing to rip everything off their vehicle to make it doors are off, the top is gone. It's so if
the cage has chicken wire welded to it.
So it could be extremely high. We don't call them rock bouncers. What do we call them? Trailer queens.
Trailer queens, yeah.
We deem them as trailer queens because that's the only way they show up. And so even if you show up in our mind, if you show up with one of our Jeeps and to the park and it comes in on a trailer, in our minds you get bumped to this 4th category.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of times if we see YJ, TJ, JKs on the trailer, most of the time the guys that are driving the truck are always talking about what brand duals are under their PJ, or their truck can haul what a big text.
So technically, the fourth category should be the trailer that you hauled it in on.
Yeah, that should be.
Man, we are seriously
first
railing
purchase.
on these guys. Yeah. All right.
Well,
it is what it is.
It
is what it is. Okay. So great. I love this conversation. We get a lot of fun out of this right here. This whole conversation. And we really don't think a lot of people take the time to think about it, what category they actually go into.
Yeah.
So, with that being in mind, remember me doing the square up here? All right, hold on here a second. All right, so remember me putting the square up here? Which one do you want to pick? We're building our dream rig. So, we'll just say Harley just had $5,000 land in his pocket, and well, I don't know if you could get a TJ for $5,000 now, but we'll just say he's able to find one for between $5,000 and $7,000. Totally faded paint, got some mechanical issues, comes in here, stock height, perfect to start working on, no rust.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect it's a bare, what's that called, portrait or a canvas. Yes. Canvas, perfect canvas for you to start, and it can be any one of these. Any four. Which one do you choose?
Third category.
You're doing ours again?
Yeah.
Okay, so he automatically picked ours, so we are calling ours.
I'm borderline. I could do
just pick one.
I could do the second, but
so so we're gonna pick Overland.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going Overland. You will see why it's so important, and why I did not want to. Excuse me. Why I did not want to write that in till he was for certain. So the two things that I found is the first group, the mall crawlers. Most of this list down through here doesn't matter.
No, they don't care about.
It's all looks.
Yeah.
So as long as you're not doing weird things to your suspension, and we all know most of those people go to a certain tire, most of them are able to keep their Jeep to where they drive pretty well.
And most of them, their choice list is very short, like 5 items. I want a purple 46-inch light bar.
Oh man, you're gonna offend some
I
people
want
here.
Orange front bumper.
Oh, people are getting mad.
The blue pod lights in the bumper.
Oh, they got it all.
And I gotta have my pink rims. Yeah.
I haven't seen
They can
that
keep
many
it
of
fairly small list.
What we've seen happen is people go out and start with an Overland or the third one, an off-road, on-road, like what we are, but they are pushed by making a mistake. They push themselves out of the category, and they bump themselves from a number 2 into our category, or they bump themselves from a number 3 into the 4th category. Next thing you know,
typically
the Jeep is behind the house.
Yep.
They're sawzalling stuff off because it drives so horrible. And this is what this whole build is.
We've seen too many Jeeps go from the 3rd to 4th category. Very rarely do they go from 2nd to 3rd.
So why this is so important is to keep you from destroying your Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now the reason why we picked overlanding is we're just going to make a couple quick analogies, and then there's going to be quite a few other videos for this. But this here, guys, I have built a bunch of motorcycles, a bunch of custom bikes, and this right here has kept me on the goal. And so when you get one of these, you write every part down. After you figure out what the overall layout of this vehicle, 4x4, whatever it's going to be, you write down every part that you want, the part number, and I group them up. So I'd do a suspension, I would do an engine, transmission, drivetrain. I'd put every part in there. I'd put the part number, the price, and the make, and the finish if there are different finishes. And what that does is it lets you know if all the parts are going to jive together, whether or not they're going to work together. And whether or not that whole list, and it's going to take a few different pages probably, if they all work with this here. I know you guys probably think I'm being petty here, but Harley's Rubik Kid here, if you guys ever have a chance to see it in person, it is a sick looking Jeep. People love it. When he was at the dunes, people are gravitated towards it, and he gets a lot of thumbs up. And it was.
I honestly felt like the painter. You got the painter in there with this really small brush, and then after they finish, they back up and see the entire picture. And I didn't think it was going to look that good when I was choosing all the parts.
Hold on. All right, so we're going to wrap this up, but one of the reasons why I want to emphasize this is before Harley ordered one part for his Jeep, he did all this. He wrote down every part, and everything was chose before we ordered the first part. So we're going to explain to you how we did that, how you go about doing that to keep you in your goal here, because you can knock yourself out and put yourself into a different category. Next thing you know, the vehicle's up for sale because you're disappointed as to what it's came about.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
Let's wrap this video up.
Part 2.
Hope you guys enjoyed. We got part 2 coming, and Harley's going to take lead on that one.
Yeah.
See ya!